In 2017, somewhere in England, an anonymous collector took delivery of a Rolls-Royce that did not officially exist. It was called the Sweptail. One example, 4 years in the making, and a reported price just under $13 million, which at the time was the most anyone had ever paid for a new car. The automotive press treated that number like a ceiling. Surely this was the limit. The limit lasted 4 years. Then it broke, and then it broke again. As of 2026, the most expensive new car in the world carries a reported price of more than $30 million. The ceiling didn't creep upward. It more than doubled in under a decade. And here is the detail that should stop you. The car at the top of that list produces 591 horsepower. That is less than a Ram TRX pickup truck. Whatever is driving these prices into the stratosphere, it is not the engineering. Over the next few minutes, we're counting down the 10 most expensive cars in the world in 2026. But unlike every other version of this list you've seen, we're going to show you the rules before we show you the cars. We'll tell you which prices are confirmed, which are manufacturer claims, and which are educated guesses. We'll tell you what each price actually buys. And at the end, we'll crown our own number one, the single best purchase on this list. It is not the $30 million car. First, the rules, because this is where every other list falls apart. If you search this topic right now, you'll find the same countdown with different cars and different prices, sometimes for the same vehicle. That happens because nobody defines what counts. So here is what counts today. New cars only, no classic auction sales, prices that a manufacturer quoted or that a verified sale supports. And when a figure is an estimate, we say so out loud. That last rule has a casualty, and it's a famous one. The Bugatti Brouillard, the one-off coupe that stunned Monterey Car Week in 2025, appears on other lists at $15 million, stated like a fact. It is not a fact. Bugatti has never disclosed the price, and published estimates run anywhere from $10 million to beyond $30 million. A spread that wide is not a price. It's a rumor with a decimal point. So the Brouillard sits outside our 10, respectfully, until someone puts a real number on it. 10 cars made the cut. Let's count them down. Number 10. The Bugatti Bolide, at roughly $4.7 million. The Bolide is the final rampage of Bugatti's 8.0-liter quad-turbocharged W16, tuned to 1,825 horsepower on 110-octane racing fuel, wrapped in a body that looks like it was designed by wind and spite. 40 examples exist, all sold, and not one of them is street legal. That last part matters more than the horsepower. A track-only hypercar is a usage asset. You buy it to consume it, lap by lap, tire set by tire set, with running costs that read like invoices from a race team, because that is exactly what they are. As pure engineering per dollar, nothing else on this list comes close. As a store of value, it's a missile, not a safe. Buy it to drive it. Just don't call it an investment. Number 9. The Red Bull RB17, at roughly $6 million. This one is less a car and more an autograph. The RB17 is the final road-adjacent design from Adrian Newey, the most successful Formula One designer in history, before he left Red Bull Racing. Under the engine covers sits a bespoke Cosworth 4.5-liter V10 that revs to 15,000 revolutions per minute, paired with a hybrid system for a combined output north of 1,200 horsepower. 50 will be built. Like the Bolide, it is track-only, which means the same usage asset warning applies. But the RB17 carries something the Bolide doesn't: a signature. Newey's designs have a habit of becoming historically significant, and 50 buyers are betting that his farewell piece follows the pattern. That is not an engineering purchase. That is a provenance purchase, wearing a racing suit. Remember that word, provenance. It's about to take over this list. Number 8. The Pagani Huayra Codalunga, at roughly $7 million. Codalunga means long tail, And that is precisely what Pagani built. A Huayra stretched by 360 millimeters, its bodywork drawn out into one unbroken line, inspired by the endurance racers of the 1960s. Under the elongated deck sits a 6.0-liter twin, turbocharged Mercedes AMG V12, producing just over 800 horsepower. 5 were made. All 5 sold before the car was even revealed at Goodwood in 2022. Here is what makes the Codalunga interesting as a purchase rather than a poster. It is the most restrained design Pagani has ever produced, and restraint is what ages well. Aggressive design dates itself. Elegance compounds. Of the newer cars on this list, this is the quiet appreciation candidate, the one that will likely look better and trade better in 20 years than it does today. Now we cross the 8-figure threshold, and the logic of these machines starts to change. Number 7. The Bugatti Cento Dieci at $9 million. Cento Dieci means 110 in Italian, and the car was built to mark Bugatti's 110th anniversary by resurrecting the wedge-nose silhouette of the 1990s EB110. Underneath, it's a Chiron-derived platform with the W16 tuned to 1,578 horsepower. Bugatti made exactly 10, hand-selected the buyers, and sold every one before the public reveal. The Cento Dieci is a lesson in what we'd call tribute economics. Bugatti's modern limited editions have a track record of trading above their original price almost the moment deliveries end, because the brand manufactures scarcity with the same precision it manufactures engines. 10 cars, one nostalgic story, a waiting list of the rejected. That is not a coincidence. That is a business model, and as an asset, it has behaved beautifully. Number 6. The Rolls-Royce Sweptail, reported at $12.8 million. This is the car from our opening, and it belongs in the middle of this list the way a founder belongs at their company's anniversary. In the early 2010s, a collector of yachts and private aircraft approached Rolls-Royce with a request the modern industry had forgotten how to hear. Build me one car from scratch for me. 4 years later came the Sweptail, with a panoramic glass roof tapering into a hull-like tail and a dashboard holding a retractable champagne flute in hand-polished aluminum. Its price made headlines. Its consequences made this entire list. The Sweptail proved that a one-off commission could command 8 figures, and every coach-built car above it on this countdown exists because of that proof. It has never returned to the market, so its value as an asset is untested. Its value as a precedent is the top half of this video. Number 5. And this entry comes with an asterisk you deserve to hear. The SP Automotive Chaos, manufacturer quoted at $14.4 million. The Chaos is a Greek machine from Spyros Panopoulos Automotive, and its claims are the most extreme in the modern industry. A twin turbocharged 4.0-liter V10 with hybrid assistance producing over 3,000 horsepower in its zero-gravity specification. 0 to 60 in 1.55 seconds, a top speed beyond 300 miles per hour, built around 3D printed titanium and magnesium components. Notice the word doing all the work in this entry, claims. Since the car's unveiling in 2021, not one of those numbers has been independently tested or verified, and public evidence of customer deliveries remains elusive. The 14.4 million is real in the sense that the manufacturer quotes it. Whether the car behind it is real, in the sense that matters, the world is still waiting to see. The Chaos earns its place here on the manufacturer's word, and our verdict is simple. A price is only as real as the car behind it. From a car that exists mostly on paper, to a car whose value the market has already voted on. Number 4. The Pagani Zonda HP Barchetta at $17.5 million. HP stands for Horacio Pagani, and this was his gift to himself. The final Zonda, built for his 60th birthday, 18 years after the original launched his company. 3 exist: Horatio kept one, which means exactly two are in private hands. There is no roof and barely any glass, just a naturally aspirated 7.3-liter Mercedes-AMG V12 breathing free at 789 horsepower, in an era when engines like it are functionally extinct. Hold on to this car. We are coming back to it at the end. Because of everything on this list, the Barchetta has something none of the others can prove. For now, just note what 17.5 million bought here. The last verse of a song the industry no longer knows how to sing. Number 3. The Bugatti La Voiture Noire. And finally, we can settle an argument the internet has been having for years. You have seen this car listed at 13 million. You have seen it listed at 18.9 million. Both are correct. Bugatti sold this one-off tribute to the lost Type 57 SC Atlantic for 11 million euros before taxes, roughly $12.5 million at the time. Once taxes were paid, the total reached about 18.9 million. Same car, two honest numbers, and a perfect illustration of why unverified lists contradict each other. The car itself is a hand-formed carbon sculpture in bottomless black, hiding a 1,479 horsepower W16 and 6 exhaust tips arranged like organ pipes. But nobody paid 8 figures for the tailpipes. They paid for the bloodline. The original Atlantic it honors would likely be worth north of $100 million if the missing one were ever found. Heritage, it turns out, is the most expensive option in the catalog. Number 2. The Rolls-Royce boat tail, reported at $28 million. 3 were commissioned, each unique, each styled after the wooden-hulled yachts of the 1930s. At the press of a button, the entire rear deck opens in a butterfly sweep to reveal a hosting suite, parasols, a champagne refrigerator chilled to the owner's preferred degree, and a pair of custom Beauvais timepieces that dock into the dashboard. Notice, though, the word reported. Rolls-Royce has never confirmed the price, and it never will, because at this altitude, discretion is part of the product. Ask yourself why a company would refuse to confirm the largest price in its history. Because the 3 buyers were not purchasing a car with a price. They were purchasing membership in a number so exclusive it is technically a secret. Number 1. The Rolls-Royce La Rose Noire Droptail, reported between $30 and $32 million. One of only 4 droptail commissions. This is the most expensive new car in the world in 2026, and it is powered by a 6.75-liter twin-turbocharged V12, making 591 horsepower. Half the cars on this list would outdrag it without downshifting. What the money bought instead was time, measured in obsession. A paint inspired by the black Baccarat rose, layered and hand-polished until it shifts from black to crimson with the light. An interior artwork assembled from over 1,600 individually shaped pieces of black sycamore, scattered across the cabin like falling petals. A single commission that consumed months of a master workshop's life. The La Rose Noire Droptail is what happens when a marque stops selling machines and starts selling monuments. It is the least powerful flagship in this countdown, and the most expensive object in it. That inversion is not an accident. It is the entire story of this list. Because look at what just happened across these 10 cars. In 2017, the record was a reported 12.8 million. 9 years later, the reported ceiling passed 30 million, an increase of well over 100%. While the horsepower at the very top fell from 4 figures to 591. The most expensive cars in the world stopped competing on performance the moment the Sweptail proved that provenance pays better. Speed can be manufactured. A one-of-one story cannot. That is the pivot. The industry's summit no longer sells what a car does. It sells what a car means, and to exactly one person at a time. Which brings us back to number 4 and to our promise. If we could make one purchase on this list, it would not be the $30 million Rolls. It would be the Pagani Zonda HP Barchetta. And the reason is cold and simple. It is the only car here whose price the market has already ratified. The Zonda has spent 2 decades doing something almost no modern car does, climbing in value with age, its rarest variants trading far beyond their original prices. The Barchetta is the final rarest expression of that proven bloodline. With a naturally aspirated V12, the industry will never build again, and only 2 examples in private hands. The coach-built Rolls-Royces may prove magnificent investments, but they have never been tested by a sale. The Zonda has been tested for 20 years, and it keeps passing. So here is the buyer's guide at the summit of the car world. Buy the track weapons to drive them, commission the coach builds to found a dynasty, and buy the Barchetta if you ever want the money back. So now it's your turn. Ignore the sticker prices and answer the investor's question. Which of these 10 would you actually put money into, and which one is a $30 million liability wearing a badge? Drop your pick in the comments and defend it, because the best arguments shape what we investigate next. Thanks for watching. And if verified numbers and straight verdicts are what you want from car videos, subscribe and tell us which vehicle you want us to open the vault on next.